Hey guys, welcome to my weekly Q&A, and this week instead of responding over Instagram stories, I decided that I would answer with a video because it would allow me to go further in depth with my explanations or even tell you guys some stories. So let me know in the comments section if you guys prefer this or if you would like me to go back to Instagram stories, okay? So I kind of picked out 10 questions. I had a lot and I'm gonna answer these 10. I'm really sorry if I didn't pick your questions. If you want me to answer any of them, maybe just comment or you could DM me and I could reply you there. Yeah? Okay. So the first question I have my laptop here. The first question that I have is, tell us about your exes and how it ended. I think a lot of people have asked me about this over the past few months of me doing this weekly Q&A. A lot of you want to know about my past boyfriends or relationships. And okay, the first relationship I was in that lasted for about 3.5 or 4 years. I don't quite remember. I know that a big portion of it was spent long distance. He was in Melbourne studying and I was in Singapore in poly. So it was really difficult. I think we barely dated. We were together for about 2 weeks before he flew off for uni in Melbourne. It was pretty tough, but he was a very, very sweet boy. And it ended okay. It ended because I realized that he was lying to me about a lot of stuff. He was an alcoholic. He was a smoker, just a compulsive liar. And I forgave him for all that, and I tried not to raise it as an issue as to why I was breaking up with him, but it came to a point in our relationship where I knew we both just had to end it to move on. He was a very sweet boy, let's just say that, and you know, my first love, so that was okay, that was good. The second and the next few were kind of just going downhill from there. A lot of them cheated on me. It seems to be a recurring thing in all my relationships. A lot of the boys that I date do cheat on me. And I think it's actually a lot to do with Instagram. A lot of them find girls on Instagram and they slide into their DMs, they entertain them, they flirt with them. So I'm gonna tell you guys a story of how I caught one of my boyfriends cheating. I had just met up with a friend of mine whom I hadn't seen in a long time, and he asked me, he said, hey, aren't you still dating that dude? Let's just give him a name. Okay, I'm gonna call this ex Josh. So he said, aren't you still dating Josh? And I said, yeah, why? And he said, oh, so a few months ago you were dating Josh. And I said, yes, that's how it works. And he said, okay, because a few months ago I was at a bar and I was drinking with a couple of friends, and this girl that I barely know, she's just a friend's friend, she comes up to me, she said, hey, aren't you friends with Elizabeth? Isn't she dating Josh? And my friend says, yeah, I think she is. Why? And she says, well, because Josh has been sending me very inappropriate messages on Instagram and it's making me very uncomfortable. I've told him to stop, but he just refuses to. He's just very weird and very perverted. And so when my friend told me this, I was like, oh damn, Josh has been hitting on girls on Instagram. That's interesting. So I met up with Josh, and at night I look at him and I say, you know, Singapore's a small world. If you flirt with someone, word's bound to get around. So you want to confess what you've been doing? And Josh is taken aback. He doesn't know where this is coming from. So Josh is like, well, what do you mean? You tell me what you know, then I confirm whether it's true or not. I'm like, bitch, I'm not gonna lay my cards on the table. I mean, I had practically no cards to lay lah, but I couldn't let him know that. So I just went, no, I'm not gonna tell you what I know. Why don't you admit to what you've done? And I'll tell you if that's what I know. And so Josh starts panicking. He's like, oh shit, what should I tell her? What does she actually know? So finally he admits that he's been flirting with 2 girls. And before he admitted it, he actually had his phone to himself. I see him like busy on it. So when he says, oh, I've been flirting with 2 girls, I say, give me your phone, let me see. Well, who are these 2 girls? So he gives me the name of these 2 girls, and I go check the history between them, the message history, and it was nothing. He wiped it clean. So he was kind of smart in that sense. He deleted it before he handed me his phone. But he wasn't too smart because I decided to look through all the other messages on Instagram that he had, and I found over 10 more girls that he was flirting with on Instagram. Then I went on Twitter and I found more. Then I went on Facebook Messenger and I found more. So I think that night I found maybe 14 girls that he was flirting with. It came to the point where I wasn't even shocked anymore. I was just laughing at all his pickup lines. They were so bad. He looked so desperate. And I was like, Josh, really? This is what you've come to? I decided to forgive him and we moved on. Then a few months later I found out he was flirting with another girl, and then a few months later I found out he was flirting with more girls. So that's when I ended it. I forgave him after catching him cheating on me the third time. That's how it ended. So yeah, if you guys want to know how my past relationships were, most of them were kind of like this. That's how most of them ended. Okay, I hope you guys like that story. Let's move on to the next question. Would you rather join Titan Digital Media, NOC, or Wabanana? Well, I think I know more of the people in Wabanana and I like them a lot. They're super, super nice. I don't really know the people in Titan or NOC, and I think maybe the public or most people would kind of assume that I have bad blood with them because of what happened a few years ago. So if you guys don't really know, let me catch you up. Okay, about 3 years ago, Jianhao, NOC, and Dkosh, all three of them released a video, I think about the same time, basically on the same day. So it was called Shady Sunday. As you can tell from the title, all three videos were about being really shady, throwing shade at other people, specifically influencers and celebrities. And unfortunately, I was mentioned in one video where someone said something pretty nasty that really isn't true, by the way. Basically, unsubstantiated rumor. When I saw the video and when I heard the hurtful things that were said about me, I was really heartbroken. I spent a whole day crying, I remember, because I was just thinking, oh my god, this is so untrue. How can he say that about me? And even if it was true, like, why would you say that? It's so mean. I spent a whole day crying and I went to my then boyfriend, coincidentally, also Josh. And I went to Josh and I said, Josh, they said this about me, it's so upsetting. And Josh looked at me and he said, cry for what? At least they talk about you, right? And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess you're a bit too bitter to be concerned about how I'm feeling at this moment. And in this video, they mentioned a lot of personalities, influencers, celebrities. And one person that was also mentioned was a really, really good friend of Josh's. So Josh was really upset. He took offense to that because his bro was so upset. He was like, bro, how can he say that about you, bro? And so Josh decided that he would stand up for his bro. And so Josh put up a video response. And a lot of you people, including Xiaxue, thought that the video response that Josh put up was because of me. Because I was so upset and, you know, they said mean things about Josh's girlfriend. But the truth is, Josh gave zero shits about how I felt. Josh put it because he was upset that he wasn't involved in the video, that he wasn't mentioned at all. He was not relevant anymore. And Josh was also upset because his bro was implicated in this scandal of sorts. So yeah, if you ask me if I have anything against NOC or Dkosh or Jianhao, I don't. I was upset, I cried for a day and I moved on. So that's it. So to answer your question, would I rather join Titan, NOC or Wabanana? I think NOC is really fantastic with videography. Their cinematography is just fantastic. Script writing, really good as well. I think I would learn a lot if I worked with them. I would say maybe Titan, because Titan has a lot of channels under them. Gaming channels, they have lady focused channels, lifestyle, probably even food. I think they really do a lot and I could learn a lot from them as well. It's a really tough decision. It's not that I wouldn't join Wabanana, it's just that they do a lot of slapstick comedy, which is what I have been doing a lot of. I would love to be a part of their team, I guess, but in terms of being with a team where I feel I could learn the most, I would say I am veering more towards Titan or OC. Yeah. Wow, what a long answer for a simple question. Okay, let's move on. Third question. Who your second favorite lawyer? Well, my ultimate favorite is obviously my boyfriend. And the second favorite would be the person who asked this question, Alex, as well as my cousin, who is coincidentally also working in the same firm as my boyfriend. So yeah, second favorite lawyer tied between two people. Fourth question, is university really worth pursuing? I really don't see the point in suffering 4 years for that paper. Well, the first question I have to ask you is, what industry are you hoping to go into? If you're hoping to go into law, into medicine, or into something that really requires the degree, then obviously you do have to go to uni. If you're looking towards the media industry, it's really not important to have a degree. A diploma is actually sufficient. Also, I don't really know what you mean when you say suffering for 4 years. If you're saying it in comparison to, let's say, secondary school days or poly or JC days, I would like to mention that in my personal experience, uni is very, very different from secondary school or poly. I really, really hated secondary school. I hated the studying, I hated the school, I hated the system. When I went to poly, I really hated the people in there. I didn't really like the system as well. It was just a whole mess. When I went to uni, that's where I really found my place, and I really enjoyed being in NUS. I didn't suffer at all. It wasn't for 3 years of suffering for me. It was just 3 years of pure bliss and enjoyment. So I would say a degree really is important in opening doors for you. But that's really how far it gets you in most cases. It just gets you through the door, and after that you're kind of on your own to prove that you are capable, you're talented, you're skilled enough to deserve that job. So in conclusion, it depends on what you're going to uni for. If you're going for a pure education, yes, do it. You can learn so much from uni. If you're doing it to just get a paper, kind of depends on what industry you're going into. Some industries really do need that paper, some industries don't really need it. So it's dependent on your situation. Just have a good think about it, and I think the decision will be pretty clear cut. Okay, the next question, and I received this a lot. Do you have a boyfriend? And this is also tied up with the next question. Tell us your love story and how you both got together. Very happy for you both. Well, the answer is yes. I think I mentioned it earlier. I said he was my favorite lawyer. I do have a boyfriend. He's super cute. He's super sweet. And I love him a lot. Tell us your love story. Well, it's a very long love story. But I think I'll tell you about the moment I decided that I would date this guy and kind of ditch the other guys that I was seeing. I had gone on 3 dates with him, and on the 3rd date, on a Sunday night, we had driven to NUS because we had both graduated from that school. You were at my favorite corner in NUS, and we were just talking from like maybe 10 at night all the way till 4 AM. We were just talking, and as a joke, I told him, hey, I'm flying up to Manila tomorrow in the morning, and I'm gonna be there for 8 days. Why don't you fly up on, let's say, Friday, and we could spend the weekend together? And it was kind of a joke because I wanted to tease him and see his reaction. You know, like I really wanted a guy who'd be like, yeah, let's do it, I'm gonna go book the tickets. But you know, instead his response was, oh, I mean, I have a huge meeting on Saturday, so I'm not really sure if I can make it, but I'll let you know. I was like, fine, what a boring answer. So anyway, I flew up to Manila the next day, and over the week we were talking a lot. And I think maybe on a Wednesday or Thursday, he texts me, he says, hey, I have something to tell you. I'm like, what do you have to tell me? And he says, well, you know the huge meeting I told you about on Saturday? that got cancelled. Do you still want me to fly up? And I was like, holy shit. Well, it started off as a joke on Sunday, you know, when I told him at NUS, but over the next few days, when I started asking him about it, or we started talking about it, it kind of got a little bit more serious. So immediately I was like, yeah, do it, fly up. I'd be so happy. And he said, you know what, yeah, fuck this, I'm gonna fly up. So he booked the tickets and he flew up to Manila on Friday after his work had ended. He took a really late night flight and we spent the whole weekend together. And I think that was the moment where I said, okay, this guy is willing to take the leap of faith for this relationship. He is willing to fly up to Manila to spend a weekend with me, even though he barely knows me. So I think this is about time where I kind of cut off everyone else and I just be more serious about him. So that's kind of how we got together. That was the start. He flew up to Manila for me. Hope that answers your question. Okay, next one. Thoughts on people who support hashtag Black Lives Matter but treat their own countrymen like shit. I feel like I don't know enough about the topic to give my opinion, and some things I say might come off very wrong without me intending it to do so. So I would like to refrain from answering this, but I would just like to point out and to ask very nicely for everyone to be more patient and be more understanding and loving towards the people who are speaking out about the Black Lives Matter movement. I see a lot of posts or content flying around online where people are just saying stuff like, hey, you live in Singapore, you never go US before, you have no right to speak about Black Lives Matter because you don't know how bad it is for them. Or I see people saying stuff like, you don't even mean it, you're just saying it for fame, you're just jumping on the bandwagon, or stuff like this. You know, you are racist towards, you know, the foreign workers in Singapore. Why suddenly now you speak up about Black Lives Matter? You're just saying it to look good, right? And to be honest, so what if they're saying it for attention? So what if they don't mean it? The fact is, they're still standing up for the movement. They're starting discussions with their friends, their families, their followers. So why does it matter to you that the intention isn't right now? It could be a baby step towards adopting the right mentality in the very near future. They start speaking about it now. The next time something happens in Singapore, who knows? They might speak up too. It's just really baby steps towards adopting the mentality that you want them to have. So instead of saying, why you speak up now, say thank you for speaking up, and then have a discussion with them, engage them, and educate them. Don't say stuff like, oh, if you say Black Lives Matter now, don't let me hear you say, oh, later the Apu Nenek catch you, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that post flying around on Instagram. Everyone is just sharing that. It's like, can't you be a little bit nicer? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like if people are speaking up about it now, then chances are they might speak up about it the next time it happens in Singapore. And let's just be nice to people if they're taking baby steps. Even if the baby steps aren't up to your standards or your expectations. Yeah. Okay, next question. Would you recommend being a freelancer? Well, there are pros and cons to being a freelancer, and I am not enjoying the cons. So there is financial instability. You don't know how much you're gonna earn every month. Some months you earn nothing. Some months you earn so much you make up for the other months. And there are really periods where you really just don't get any work. We don't get any benefits like you would in an office job with a huge company. Being a freelancer means that you need to have determination. You need to not procrastinate. You need to be able to drag your ass up even on the bad days and do your work. I know that sounds a lot like having an office job, but it's really much harder as a freelancer because we are at home. At any point where it's a bad day, we can just be like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break today. Let's just get back in bed. And if you're in an office job, you kind of have to stick it out no matter what. As a freelancer, you kind of have that freedom to call it quits, you know, for a day. I would say a lot of privileged people become freelancers because we are not in that situation where we have to worry about money so much. Of course, there are the exceptions, but I feel like I am very privileged because I come from a family where I don't really have to worry about my family members needing money or assistance. I can just focus on myself. If I don't make enough money for the month, I can just scrimp and try to last and ride it out to the next month. I don't have to worry about, oh, my mom, my dad, my family members. So when I recommend being a freelancer, well, it kind of depends on your situation. If you're privileged enough to be in a situation where financially you don't have to worry, then by all means, yes, be it acting, hosting, graphic designing, videography, or writing, go ahead and do it. It's amazing. If not, probably not. Yeah, this decision to be a freelancer not only affects you, but affects everyone that is with you. So you kind of have to take that into consideration. If you're lucky enough to be in a situation where you can be a freelancer, go ahead, do it. If not, maybe just an office job, something with more stability financially. Next question. Do you agree that Mobile Legends has a lot of burden pubs that are toxic and keep trash talking? Pubs would be public players, and yes, I feel that ML has a lot of toxic public players. So just last night I was playing, and during drafting, 5 players, right? So there's me, 2 guys from Myanmar, 1 Malaysian, and I think 1 Indonesian. And this Malaysian dude was so racist. I don't know what he was upset about, but he started bashing the Myanmar players, saying like, oh, Myanmar players all toxic, just gonna lose the game, no skill. And I got so irritated, I just said, chill. And then the Myanmar guy got mad at me and he said, don't talk shit, okay? I will steal your buff. I was like, dude, you're a fucking saber, what are you gonna do? Okay, like, and I was trying to be nice and I was trying to mediate the situation. Why you gotta come at me? I don't understand. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people find it easier to be mean and to be rude online rather than face to face because you're hiding behind a screen. It's easier to be mean. Yeah, and a lot of players, I feel, have their self-esteem and self-worth very tightly tied to the game. So if they lose, they take it very personally. You know, like, maybe that's why they're so toxic, because it means a lot to them that they win this game. If not, you know, their life is going to the shits. I don't know. Okay, next question. Hopefully the last one, I think. Why did you start the Hire Me Lair campaign? Oh, this was so long ago. I started it because I was graduating and I was looking at all the graduation shoot photos that were going around on my Facebook, because a lot of my friends were graduating with me and it was so boring. If you're one of those friends that posted, I'm sorry, I find them boring. But I mean, they were nice photos, but to me they were boring. It was just them throwing their mortarboards in the air, holding, you know, their cert, or posing with their friends, and I was like, wow, you know, you look so happy to be graduating. Do you really know what's ahead of you? Like, do you know what adulting really means? It's gonna be shit from now on. And I just wanted to take photos that really reflected the true reality of what graduating really means. It means having to hunt for a job, being turned down from many jobs before you finally land one. It means having to pay bills. It means having more responsibilities on your plate. It's just, I wanted to show that it wasn't just going to be fun and happiness after graduation. I wanted a reality check. And that's kind of why I started the Hire Me Lair campaign. I also wanted to kind of show that it's really hard for fresh grads to land a job, because I was looking online for jobs that I could apply to and I realized that a lot of fresh grads welcome to apply, but then below they would say, oh, 4 to 5 years of experience. I'm a fresh grad, how do you expect me to have 4 to 5 years of experience? That's insane! Isn't that crazy? So yeah, that's kind of why I started the Hire Me Like campaign. I didn't expect it to go viral, but I'm very happy it did. It started a discussion and there were a couple of mean comments, but overall it was pretty good. Okay, the last one, okay, this one's a bonus. It's not really a question, but someone said, you look a lot like Chung Ha. Don't know who that is, so I had to Google her, and I don't think I look like her, but I took some photos just so you guys can judge. Do I look like her? Okay, I think that's it. Wow, that's almost half an hour of this video that's rolling. I want to thank you guys so much for sending in your questions, and I'm really sorry if I wasn't able to answer them. So let me know if you guys prefer Instagram stories or a video in response to the Q&A. Just let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up like this, and follow me on Instagram. Bye!